So since we have a quorum right now, let's call the meeting to order so we can move on to the agenda quickly. Okay. So the first, we need to review and approve the meeting minutes from the last meeting. So could I have a motion on that?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. All right, let's go on into the planner's report that you had gone through most of that. So is there anything else you wanted to add, Michael?
No, I'll just mention two more things. These zoning bylaw updates, I will distribute those likely ahead of your next meeting, so this committee can review them. Those are really just conversations right now with the planning board to get those on as placeholders for the warrant. But I'll be giving those to the EDC in detail, so you have a chance to review those and give recommendations. And then the other thing, just is not really EDC business, but I thought it might be a particular note to people, which was there's new legal opinions concerning political signs. And the legal opinion is that those are wholly protected by the First Amendment. I don't want to get into a discussion necessarily about that here, but I just thought it might be of interest to a lot of you. I know folks, have opinions about their politics, if you can imagine. So
in terms of keeping signs up indefinitely.
Correct. And following the bylaw of signs. So political signs on a private residence is an expression of freedom of expression, First Amendment. So it's not regardless of what it says, but political signs are now like a protected class of expression, if you want to call it that. So meaning per your local bylaw, all political signs need to be taken down 2 days after an election. I mean, obviously, we're well beyond that in some cases. And so that is no longer the case because that is considered to be unconstitutional.
Oh, I guess that I'll be ordering some signs then.
Yeah, have at it.
Really jazzing up the place, you bet.
And my office will get the complaints, and then we'll break the news to the complainants.
It's a dangerous precedent.
We're following what the top-down guidance is on that. The state of Massachusetts, the Massachusetts State website has published an ACLU opinion and report basically saying this exact thing. So it's essentially state policy now.
Okay.
So don't mean to derail us, but I thought that would be of interest.
That is of interest.
Yep.
How about parades? And demonstrating on the common, is that protected as well?
It's as of today, I think so.
Just private homes, not public, right?
Yeah,
private.
correct. You still can't erect signs on public property without all that stuff is still in place. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Mike?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Let's go on to the EDC focus projects, infrastructure analysis. That was completed by Stantec, right? And at this point, they had some relatively minor comments that people were asked for, but I felt were pretty important. In terms of explaining the terminology, particularly in explaining the terminology they use. The way you read it, it looks like we're woefully inadequate or very close to being inadequate in a lot of places. So I don't know if and I saw your questions back to them. If they replied yet?
No, they haven't. I think I might have sent those out just yesterday because I finally had a chance to go through them in detail. And Lori helped me remember to do that with her comments. So Lori sent her comments to me. I copied those in the body of my email. Some of her comments were relative to just getting better GIS mapping, and I wholly agree with that. They provided clips of existing maps and things like that, but it'd be great to just get put that all together in a new map and make a better map. I'd prefer to have
And
that.
show the things like show the water sources and have
Mhm.
them all. And we had 0 on telecommunications. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And
Yeah.
and one of my bigger points, and Gene, yeah, that was definitely one of them too, which is explain terminology that you're using, and also I thought when we had talked, Gene, you and I, and I think Stantec, we talked about using proxy developments as like a way of identifying what would be needed. So in the case of the electric section, what if somebody were to want to put in a solar farm or a multifamily residential development, what are the things they would need to do in order to get those developments up and running, given that they are locating within a 75 to 100% capacity area for electricity? So again, there was some of that explanation, but tease it out more. And
yeah, but not enough. I mean, so if we wanted to put if you looked at battery storage, for example, which we've talked about several times, if you're at 100% capacity, battery storage isn't going to be helpful. I mean, it's not, you can't add it to the grid, I don't believe, and then that would be where we'd need clarification. Does that mean that no further development is allowed? If you're at 100%, then without upgrades, that development, it seems to me, my interpretation of that is that development can't go forward, whether it's on the demand side or on the supply side. If the lines are carrying 100% of their capacity, there's nothing you can do. So it would be good to know that.
Yeah. So I think I think the report hinted at the things that need to be done as far as improvements of infrastructure in order to accommodate new development, but I feel as though it needs to be a lot more explicit as to what those steps are and possibly even how you go about doing that, those things. So just a little bit more explanation.
I had a question. I want to back it up and where do they get the information from? And do we collect this every year? Is it something we're benchmarking every year and we're at the month of where we benchmark it? Or why are we seeing this report now?
So, Gene, through the chair,
Yeah.
it's not an annual report thing, although that's not a bad idea. This is through the earmarked money that I was talking about earlier, the 2022 Economic Recovery Fund earmarks. There was a certain amount of money given to every city and town for the express purpose of economic development. Your town, you, the EDC, and the select board jointly identified a couple priority projects to spend that money on, this being one of them.
So we didn't pay for the report, but do you have any idea how they gather their information? Is it all just online? Do they have boots on the ground? Are they looking at maps in town hall? And if you don't know, that's okay. I wish they could have defined, where do we get our information from? That would have been a good data point to start from.
Yeah, I do know the answer to that question. I believe in like the first paragraph of the report, they talk about a desktop review. I think that was the terminology they used. And I can ask them to elaborate on that as well. But what that meant was reviewing all available information. So what they did is they reviewed all of the town's available information through reports and studies that we already have available. So we had sewer maps and water studies and sewer studies that I sent to them for their review to incorporate into this report. As well as, they went to National Grid and asked for those capacity reports and capacity information. So it was all existing information that they just had to go to these individual agencies, or mostly through the town and mostly through DPW, to just collect and then condense, analyze, and put into this report.
Gotcha.
Any other discussion on that topic? Okay, great. Let's move on to the.
I'll keep you apprised of, if I get responses, and hopefully we can get an amendment and some additions onto that report.
Good. Then moving on to the public parking vision. I guess we're fully engaged with Alan, or they're contracted, and they're just going to be working on trying to implement the design, or,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are taking that concept design and engineering it out, right? Making sure it can actually fit onto the property by doing surveys, using survey data, and doing their engineering thing, using AutoCAD and benchmarks and contours, and making sure it all actually works.
Did they provide a scope of work?
They did, yeah, and I believe I provided that ahead of the last. It was either last meeting or the meeting before, but I can share that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed those meetings, so if I could, I just wanted to see what their scope was, because I'm sure landscape design wasn't part of it, or water guard.
Well, they're implementing what the concept was. So if the landscape design that was envisioned in that concept, well, my understanding is it will be incorporated into their engineering, their site plan that they're going to develop for us.
Yeah, but it'll be hatched out. They won't do the landscape design itself. That's just
no. I mean, I would imagine that if there is some question that they need to fill in a gap for, I would want, if it's something that I can't answer easily, to bring it to the committee to provide that feedback. But that's my anticipation.
Okay, great.
Is there, if I could ask, is there a timeline when we think we might get their work back?
The initial draft, I think we talked something around April. But
might be melted.
Yeah, with this snow,
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. We will see. Which is why it's good that also I might be able to extend the timeline on these earmarks, because getting this all done.
Weather is kind of a limiting factor. I was kind of curious, have you seen, the scope of work would be good, and as long as it's us, our little group, are they taking out that hill? I mean, you can see the top down, you can see the blueprint of it, but are they ever leveling it out? Do you know? Or to be determined? Because I'm envisioning it all being flat.
They'll probably do to be determined. They probably need to do a grade separation there. Leveling it out won't give them. I don't think you can get the parking spaces that we envisioned if you do it leveled out. Because it's too much of a grade change.
I don't think when I talked with Mark Allen, I think we kind of ruled out bringing in any kind of fill in order to do this, because it's
scraping it down to, because it's kind of,
we're most likely if a hill is there, it will probably come down to achieve the vision, if that's what is needed to be done. I don't see any filling happening in order to level anything out.
You would probably,
especially because that is very near floodplain. And so digging it out and leveling it would actually achieve a better result, because you'd generate flood storage, essentially, right? A place for water to go should it flood. So those are the kinds of conversations I had.
Yeah. They could do retaining walls in the areas of the slopes and things like that get to maximize the footprint of the parking. Because a lot of that is, if you lower that upper grade down into the floodplain grade, then you reduce your ability to do anything in terms of future development. So it's like there's a whole balancing act that they've got to do to make all of the design elements work.
I thought I read that it was going to be 100 spaces, which it's 24 spaces now, which that's exciting. I like that. That's development to me. But it'd be interesting to see where they're going to put it, given that it's in a floodplain.
I don't think it's not going to be 100. It'll be like 17 in this area we're talking.
Grove Street? Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
The maximum we ever got was 39, I think.
That sounds right.
I might be thinking of someplace nearby, but I thought a number that I saw was 100, and I'm not looking right at it, but okay. More is better anyways. It's all good.
Right. So I just looked, I just looked on I was looking for the draft of the bylaw, the zoning bylaws that we're going to be looking at. And so I went, oh, maybe this is where I don't remember getting the Allen Engineering scope of work. So I thought it might be on the website and I didn't see it there and I don't remember getting it. So I don't know if I just missed it somehow.
I'll double check that it was posted or sent out, but either way, I'll resend it out so everybody can take a
Thank
look
you.
as well.
That would be great.
Okay.
You mentioned it in your land use, the planners report, maybe?
Mhm.
Look at that one, maybe? I don't know.
Any other further questions or comments around the public park division? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Let's move on then. The West Upton Center Vision, I know that's well on its way. There was a meeting, obviously it was postponed.
Yep.
I know Linda was advocated and actually made contact on some kind of action item elements of it, which is great.
Mhm.
But other than that, anything new to report?
No, and because everything's been delayed on that, so there's nothing new at this time.
Okay, all right, great. I don't have any other projects to offer, and Julie isn't here. I do think that we want to, and I'm going to send out an email to everybody in the next few days or next week. I just want to look at where we're headed and make sure that we're spending our time productively. I mean, it's a big allocation of time every month that we spend on, collectively. It takes time for Michael to organize. If we can, I'd like to recenter and reprioritize and identify things that we think we can act on and be productive. I don't necessarily feel like being chair of a board is an honor in some ways, but I want the board to be effective. And I think everybody that's on it, I assume, wants the same thing, that we're actually taking action on meaningful items and moving projects or aesthetics forward from an economic development perspective. So if you can start thinking about it, and I know we have this discussion of adding other projects. I think it's time to kind of recenter more than adding other projects. Make sure that we're prioritizing our work correctly, and that we're effective in doing what we were chartered to do, which is economic development, and that can be in a relatively loose sense, I think. It doesn't have to be strictly business oriented. What we did with the town center vision was, I think, still has a life to it. And, it's kind of a guiding concept that we continue to refer to. So I do feel like we're losing our way a little bit in our conversations and not moving effectively forward on things that are meaningful to others in the community. And I want to make sure that our work is meaningful. So if you can start thinking about things, it would be helpful. Because I don't think nobody wants to spend their time uselessly.
I did get an email from Julie today, and she told me about where, maybe she mentioned to Marie, she's been away in China, so I think she's been not communicative, but she did meet with Laura Hebb. And Laura says that she wants to do one of those multi-board meetings in March or somewhere around there she's thinking of. And she thought maybe a 45-minute pizza thing ahead of that. People are going to be coming off the multi-board meeting anyway. They could do a little social time first, or before it or after it, or something like that. So I think that's moving along in a good direction for what you folks wanted to do. So that's a good thing. And I'm looking forward to looking at the bylaw changes, because I think they can drive some business in town, depending, I don't know what it is yet, but I just tried to open it up and it was every word was like vertical. So either I have to change my settings or something so I can see it better. I'm not sure. But
I didn't send bylaw changes out, so you don't have those yet. I'll get you
Well,
the bylaw change.
There's some bylaw thing on the planner?
Oh, yeah. So that is sorry, Gene. The document you're looking at is the zoning diagnostic, which is
Yeah.
the comprehensive review that CMRPC did with myself and the planning board of just identifying problems in the zoning bylaw. Nothing is really recommended at this time. What I will be doing shortly within the next month or so is reaching out for volunteers to join the zoning bylaw rewrite committee, or whatever we want to call it, sort of thing. So I'll be getting representatives from different boards and committees that have interest in that sort of thing to bore ourselves to tears reviewing zoning bylaw every so often.
I already saw that request for volunteers. Maybe it was in your planner's document today.
Yeah, it's in my planner's report. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
I said, I saw that. It's already gone up, but I guess that just come out to us.
Okay, great.
I think that's going to be important though, because I really think we're in an important place in terms of zoning right now. You know, we've got all this agricultural land. We're doing a lot downtown here. I think that is really going to guide economic development or support it quite a bit.
Yeah, the intent is just more to do a cleanup. We're not going to take big policy swings with that. So we're not going to, the intent isn't going to, we're going to try to avoid changing things really, other than to just clarify things and remove confusion from the bylaw. With regard to economic development, that is a big challenge, right? The thing I hear over and over again is entitlements for properties. You know, developers don't necessarily want a guarantee. Well, they would love a guaranteed approval ahead of time, right? But they know they can't get that. So the second best thing is just knowing there's a predictable path forward. And what the problems that I am seeing and the problems that are expressed are, once a developer gets involved in an application with the town, any town, it then becomes a guessing game of where the next stop is in order to get an approval and things like that. So it's like it's never ending. Oh, I need to go here now. Oh, I need to go here now, and not having this path laid out for them of just understanding what the actual process is, and cleaning up, clarifying the zoning bylaws is one step in achieving that.
Has East Street Estate been approved yet? Do you know?
No.
No. Is it being still held up on the wetland crossing? And that's Allen Engineering too, I understand.
That is not. That's a different engineering firm.
Oh, I think they changed then. Okay.
Okay, anything else anybody would like to add tonight?
I'm just curious to know when the town meeting warrant's going to open.
It's already open.
When did it open?
I'm not sure exactly. I asked Bill Taylor, and Bill,
Okay,
and Bill said
'cause
it closes soon. It closes like sometime in early February. So
Well, I was looking because I haven't heard one thing about it, and I looked and I couldn't find it. And usually it is open now,
yeah,
and so it is. Okay, I guess
I think it might be, unless I was mistaken or told something else. But I think it's already open.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, if there isn't anything else, let's have a motion to close the meeting.
We don't have to ask for anything at town meeting related to this parking lot for the
No.
future, for financing it, for building it or anything, no?
No, because we don't have a design to act on yet. Until there's
Yeah,
a design and design documents, you can't do anything.
Oh,
Possibly fall meeting, Lori. Because with Allen Engineering, he's going to give us I'll have to look back in the scope, but I'm pretty sure this is included. They're costed out for construction, cost of construction. And so, like I said, we won't wrap this project up, the design and having the cost, until probably June, which is past town meeting. So.
Right. Oh, I know. In the notes you sent her today, you talked about an EOI about Holy Angels.
Oh, I think that was a carryover from the original. Yeah, so just the original conversation of about a little over a year ago, right? When
Okay.
the select board did an EOI, and that was when 140 Arts responded, and they were the only respondent, sort of thing.
Right, that was wondering if somebody else had come along. Okay.
I'll
so
make
no.
sure to clean that up in the report. I might have eliminated some of that in order to avoid repeating it over and over again, but then left in the bit about EOI.
Okay, great. Anybody else? Anything else?
Mhm.
Okay, then let's have a motion to close the meeting.
Motion to close the meeting.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks,
As
everyone. Have
always,
a good
thanks
night.
everybody for
Thanks,
joining.
everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Stay warm.